You remember where we stopped yesterday? 212.
228.
212. The page 328. Page
the question 212.
Yeah. So it was regarding wiping over the feet. First is you can wipe over everything. Look what he says, everything, because there is no proof that you have to do it on specific thing. So you can do wiping over the khuf, over anything that is up to the ankle, including the socks. How are you? And we said for the person who is a resident, it's 1 day and 1 night, according to the majority. And for the traveler is 3 days and 3 nights. And then we discussed this. And then also he said then he must take off his whatever he is wearing, socks or leather socks, and then do wudu. He must do wudu, and by must do wudu after he take his leather socks or whatever he is wearing, because he said everything is the same. And then also he said when he wear the leather socks or the socks, he must have had wudu beforehand. And then he mentions the different madahib, what they say. We said that his proof, the masah over the socks or the leather socks is established by the hadith of Hudayfa, which is in Bukhari, and the hadith of Mughira ibn Shu'bah, the hadith of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, the hadith of Amr ibn Umayyah al-Damri, which is, all of these hadith are in Bukhari and Muslim. So the question of masah is established like mutawatir. And we have it's clear, should have been taken from Quran. No, we said this just to go back again through this. What the Prophet did masah. Everybody who said the Prophet had done masah, he has said on leather socks. Nobody said on anything else. Nobody has mentioned like there is hadith of Mughira ibn Shu'bah which says socks. Yes, that is intermediate. The reason, and this hadith is a mistake, because everybody who narrated it from Mughira ibn Shu'bah, including his two sons, who are very most trustworthy people, they said they mentioned leather socks. Those who said, the narrator who said it's socks, you remember the name?
The one who said it was socks?
Yeah, it's Abdurrahman Abu Qais Abdurrahman al-Tharwan from Huzayl ibn Shurahbil from Mughira. And one of these two people must have made this mistake, or Sufyan al-Thawri has done tadlis from a weak person. So the hadith is weak anyway. So, but still you can do masah on everything, not only on the leather socks, because we don't take it from the action of the Prophet, we take it from the Quran. And the Quran says فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ فَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ. Now Quran says if you go to pray, then wash your faces and your hands to the elbow, and wipe over your heads and feet. Now wipe, the ayah says like this: اغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم, wash your faces and your hands. وامسحوا, wipe over your head and feet. Now وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم in one narration, one of the recitation. The other in the other recitation is وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم. Now أرجل, one narration says أرجلكم, أرجلي. One recitation says أرجلكم. Now where it says أرجلكم, we have something in Arabic language that says معطوف and معطوف عليه. When you say Muhammad and Sa'id came, جاء محمد وسعيد. Muhammad and Sa'id came. That means in Arabic language, Muhammad and Sa'id here must be having the same i'rab. Meaning, if you say جاء محمد, it has to be Sa'idun, not Sa'idin, not Sa'idan. Because you said Muhammad, it has to be Sa'idun. Okay? To say that Muhammad and Sa'id are doing the same thing here. If we say, like in Quran, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ, and when he was lifting, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ. And then when إِذْ يَرْفَعُ, when he was raising Ibrahim, because in Arabic you put the maf'ul, the fa'il after the fi'l. So when he was raising Ibrahim, al-qawa'id, foundation of the house, and Ismail. Now, was he raising the foundation of the house and he was raising Ismail? No. When Ibrahim and Ismail were raising the... How do we know that Ismail here was not the one who has been raised? The i'rab. We look at Ismailu. If he meant that he was raising the foundation of the house and he was raising Ismail, he will say قواعد من البيت وإسماعيل. In this case we will say Ismaila, because Ismail is not mu'arab. However, because he said Ismailu, we know that Ismail here is doing the same thing as his father, not being, you understand? So we look at the i'rab. Now when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says امسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم, اغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم, وجوها أيديا, that is فتحة. وجوهكم. kum here at the end is not, it's just added to, like مضاف إليه. So وجوهكم أيديكم. Then امسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم. That means أرجلي here comes with the head. That is one narration. So you have to wipe, because if it comes with the head you have to wipe it. So he's saying wipe your head and your feet. Where it says وأرجلكم, أرجلكم here is not معطوف on رؤوس, your head, so it's معطوف on face and hands. Since the hands has to be washed, this is the Arabic language. So from here we establish that you have to wash your feet and you have to wipe your feet. So you have one narration and another narration. The Prophet, when he wiped over his leather socks, he was just applying this ayah. So since he was applying this ayah, so there is nothing to say in this ayah that you have to wipe on the leather socks. It says you wipe over the feet. Wiping over something, you don't have to, in Arabic language, you say, I wiped over his shoulder. You don't have to have like, it's not like touching. So you have wiping over the shoulder, you can do it over the clothes. You can still say, I wiped over his shoulder. So, or the head of the boy or something. So you wipe something, you just pass your hand on it. Here, so the Prophet was applying the ayah. So since there is nothing to say, you don't wipe except on the leather socks, so you can wipe on everything. The reason that we don't wipe on over the feet, bare feet, is the hadith of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, that he said we were in trouble, and then the Prophet, they were late for Salat al-Asr, and then the Prophet saw them, he said we started wiping over the feet. He saw our feet, there is spaces that has not been touched with water. And then he said, go to the heels from hellfire. So that will make it, that shows that wiping over the feet, bare feet, is haram. So you have to wipe over the leather, over something that is covering the feet. And since it has to be to the ankles, so whatever you are wearing, if you put plastic bag around your feet, up to the ankles, you can wipe on it.
Sorry. So the ankle,
Yeah.
to the ankle,
Yes.
to the bottom of the ankle.
That is now the story here. The thing is, in Arabic language, up to ila means two things. It means up to and means with. If you go ila means to. If you say I went to the house, if you reach the door, you went to the house. You don't have to enter to say I went to. So that if you take it from the Arabic language, yeah, it's up to here. But then also ila means with. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَهُمْ مَعَ أَمْوَالِكُمْ. Don't put their money, the orphans' money, with. وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَهُمْ إِلَى أَمْوَالِكُمْ. Ila, with your money. Don't mix it together. So since this word means two, you shouldn't take only one. I mean, every word in the Quran, it has more than one meaning. Nobody can say, I take one meaning and leave the other. You have to take all the meanings together. So it has to be up to the ankles or the elbow, including the elbow. You understand? And this is what the Prophet usually, description of the word wudu of the Prophet, this is what he was doing as well. So it has to cover the ankle as well. Or probably part of it. Yes, so this is one thing regarding the masih. We know the masih from the Quran, and the Prophet wiping over the leather socks doesn't mean only leather socks. This is what he was wearing when he did. And this is the opinion not of the majority, because the Shafi'is and the Hanafis say you can't wipe over the socks. It has to be leather socks. The Malikis, of course, they don't accept wiping at all. Well, there is different narrations from them, but generally the Malikis don't accept wiping over the leather socks. The other thing that we have mentioned then is regarding the timing. Yeah, the majority say 3 days. Not the majority. It is almost. The Malikis say there is no times. Those who accept, because we say the Malikis generally don't accept wiping, but where they accept it, there is some narrations from Malik, from student of Malik, that he accepted it. The Malikis then say there is no timing. And we said all the Sahaba who accept wiping over the feet. Now we have Sahaba who don't accept wiping over the socks or leather socks or whatever. Those who accept it, those who have spoken amongst them regarding the timing, they said 3 times, 3 days and 3 nights for the traveler, 1 day, 1 night for non-traveler, and others didn't say anything. So the way the majority say ijma', they say ijma', if the ummah have agreed, if the ummah have said, if we know only 2 things, like if there is 2 opinions, have known been like 2 opinions only, 3rd opinion will be wrong, because that is the ummah have agreed about 2 opinions. You understand? They say, we know, we take the dalil of ijma' that the ummah will never be wrong. So since the whole ummah have 2 different opinions, so it's definitely one of these 2 is right. You understand? They say, so creating a new opinion, definitely that opinion will be wrong. That is how they put it. Then they say, since these 2 opinions, one of them is right, definitely, we have established that the first opinion that says there is no masah is wrong because of so many hadith that says that the Prophet used to do masah. So now the timing, we have to take it from the group which says, which are right. And then they should have said here as well, the Malikis should have said here, it's 3 days and 3 nights and 1 day and 1 night for the, because those Sahaba who accepted that there is masah, some of them didn't say anything, and those who have said something, they have said 3 days and 3 nights or 1 day and 1 night. So it will be like, call it ijma', because there is no.
That's the only delete for it. 3 days.
No, 3 days, 3 nights. We say there is hadith. Now there is hadith. What is the hadith? The first hadith is the hadith of Ali ibn Abi Talib. It is in Muslim that the Prophet has made it, has made 3 days for the traveler and 3 nights, and 1 day and 1 night for the resident. The hadith is in Bukhari from Shuraih. He said, I asked Aisha regarding masah. She said, go and ask Ali because he knows this better than me. He went and asked him, and Ali ibn Abi Talib said, the Prophet have made or has given 3 days, 3 nights for. Now he didn't say how he gave these 3 days and 3 nights. The Prophet gave 3 days and 3 nights for the traveler, and 1 day and 1 night for the resident. He didn't say how exactly did he say that. To take that hadith, which has no wording of the Prophet at all, will put the people who took that time they will not be able to. They will have to use a lot of opinions later. Also, so we say there is another hadith which is also from Asim bin Abi Nujud, from Zar ibn Hubaysh, from Safwan ibn Assad. Zar ibn Hubaysh, he said, I went to Safwan ibn Assad. Now the hadith of Muslim is not sahih, no wording of the Prophet. The second hadith is the hadith of Safwan ibn Assad, which is in the Sunan, and it says from Asim bin Nujud, from ibn Abi Nujud, from Zar ibn Hubaysh, that we were with the Prophet in trouble, and he ordered us not to take that. He ordered us to wipe over our feet 3 nights, 3 days from any breaking wudu, except from janaba. Now we say this hadith, there is no wording of the Prophet. It deals with the traveler, and this hadith is the narration of Asim bin Abi Nujud. Asim bin Abi Nujud, there is 2 different opinions about him. Many consider him to be weak. He makes mistakes when it comes to hadith. He is one of the main narrators of Quran. When we say Hafs from Asim or Warsh from Asim, he is Hafs. The Asim is one of the main narrators of Quran. So there is no doubt about him being the one of the trustworthy people when he narrates Quran. But people say because those muqra'in, most of them, they are weak in hadith. They memorize Quran, they care too much about recitation of Quran, but they don't then memorize hadith. And someone like Asim bin Abi Nujud, there is different opinions about him, of course. I said there is different opinions about him. Bukhari and Muslim narrates for him hadith that he didn't narrate by himself, where there is a backup, not by himself alone. And a person like Asim bin Abi Nujud, where people have clearly said he is weak, and some people will say that he is weak, but will not say it like clearly, like, you understand? People will talk about him good. You will, most of the case, you should take it as weak. That is because of his status as one of the main narrators. People will not like to talk directly. So it doesn't mean really anything. It's a question of when someone is so famous and he has followers, or his status like he's narrator of Quran or he's sheikh of madhab or something, people will be careful in talking about him. So always those who have criticized him are more worthy to be taken, really. So, since there is no anything about regarding timing, so it should be left for, there is so many hadith that deals about no timing. Many hadith that says that the Prophet said, like a wife or whatever, how long you want. All these hadith are weak. But there is nothing to say, nothing sahih or clear to say how long. So it should be any time. And for how long?
Had Ali ibn Talib said, the Prophet said, or the Prophet told me.
If he said, the Prophet said, the traveler should wipe 3 days and 3 nights, then definitely you have to take it. There will be some problems arising from this later, from this wiping over 3 times and 3 days, or whatever. The other thing is putting your feet inside the socks. You have to put them while they are clean. Now, while they are clean, they say, what does it mean when they are clean? The majority say that's when you have full wudu. Some say that they are clean, that there is no najasa on them. There is nothing on them like that dirt. You can't see any dirt on them. Something that is najas on your feet. That is, you put them in your feet, in your socks, clean. The opinion of the majority is the opposite, that you have to have full wudu. And the fact that Mughira ibn Shu'bah, when he asked the Prophet, he wanted to take his socks, leather socks. The Prophet said, leave them. I put them clean. So like they say, he is showing him that it is a condition that you put them while they are clean. You have to put your feet. This hadith really, you can't take much from it. He didn't say, I have put them clean, and then if they were not clean, I wouldn't have, except, there is something called mafhum mukhalafa. Mafhum mukhalafa, for example, the Ahnaf don't take it, but they apply it here. So the condition of putting your feet inside the leather socks is putting them clean, no dirt on them. This is what the hadith, because the Muslim is always clean, even when he doesn't have wudu. Isn't it?
Yes.
Muslim, when he says tahiratain, Muslim is never najis. He is always tahir. Since he is tahir, then his feet is always tahir, unless there is some najasa on it, and then he is not tahir. So if he put his feet that way in the leather socks or whatever, someone, let's say he was carrying a child and his child urinated on his feet, and then he tried like that, and then he put his feet on the socks, he must take them off and wash his feet first before he can start wiping over the socks. So that is and then you see, when the Prophet, this hadith of Mughira ibn Shu'bah also can be used to say there is no time limit, because he is teaching here, Mughira ibn Shu'bah, why he is wiping over the leather socks. Of course, not everything you find it in one hadith, but still, now let's take it with the way, for example, Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim says, he is teaching here, he must teach fully. Or all the time they say this. This is the majority, but they use it a lot. If he should have told Mughira ibn Shu'bah, leave it. I put my feet clean, and I have not finished 1 day and 1 night. Or it has been, I just put it earlier. I have not finished 3 days and 3 nights if they were traveling. So he is teaching him why he shouldn't take his socks. So he didn't teach him properly. If there is other conditions, leave it because I put them. That is not. So that is the only reason. That is the only reason to put your feet, to wipe your.
Wash your feet.
To wipe over the leather socks. There is no other conditions then. For example, that it has to be 3 days and 3 nights for the traveler, or he would have said, leave it because I put it inside the socks, leather socks, while they were clean, and they have not finished my 1 day and 1 night as well. But he didn't say that. Of course, if it comes from another hadith sahih, then you should say, okay, he said, this is what Mughira ibn Shu'bah mentioned, and this is what came from another hadith sahih. So maybe Mughira ibn Shu'bah didn't say everything. But
Sorry. Let me get this straight. You're saying if I put my foot in my sock while I don't have wudu, I can still wipe over it?
well, there is, for me, the Prophet said, "Da'huma," leave them, about like the socks. I put my feet inside them while they are clean, tahiratain, tahir. So is the Muslim feet tahir all the time? When he has no wudu, is he tahir?
No.
So if he is tahir, then his feet is tahir. But if his feet he has something dirt, najasa, then he is not.
And I can keep them in there for as long as I want.
I said the hadith that says that deals with the timing. Now, and I told you why the hadith of Muslim, Bukhari didn't mention any hadith about timing. Even though the hadith of Muslim should be according to his condition. That one hadith of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And then there is the hadith, the other hadith. There is many other hadith. The best of the other hadith is hadith of Asim bin Abi Nujud. And Asim bin Abi Nujud is someone who is considered to be weak in hadith. So there is other many hadith about 3 days, 3 nights. And there is so many narration from the Sahaba saying 3 days, 3 nights. Many Sahaba saying it. You can say Umar ibn Khattab, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Ali ibn Abi Talib, many Sahaba. Now, the Sahaba used to take from each other. Umar ibn Khattab will make speech and he will say 3 days, 3 nights. Every Sahabi will say 3 days, 3 nights. There are many Sahaba who used to follow Umar ibn Khattab. He says something, they follow it. That is there, but they believe that following Umar ibn Khattab is fine. But that is 3 times 3 nights. It should be taken from the religion. I mean, from if you put a limit on something, it has to be clear from hadith. The Prophet said 3 days and 3 nights. That is how it should be. But there is nothing that says it's 3 days, 3 nights, except hadith the Prophet of Ali ibn Abi Talib, that he says the Prophet used to order us to wipe for the muqim, for the resident 1 day and 1 night, and for traveler 3 days and 3 nights. Now, let's see another thing here. What will happen when you are dealing with this? He said, because yesterday we stopped here. We mentioned about the khuffain. I didn't finish all the hadith. And I don't think that we need to go through all the hadith. He will mention some hadith about Umar ibn Khattab. He will mention here regarding the timing hadith of Umar ibn As and Shurahbil ibn Hasana. They sent him to Abu Bakr. And then Abu Bakr asked Uqba, for how long you have not taken off your khuffayn? He said, from Friday to Friday. He said, you have done good. This is the people who say there is no timing, they use this hadith. Ibn Hazm say here,
The Prophet asked him that.
No.
Abu Bakr.
They say, no. This is Amr ibn al-As and Shurahbil ibn Hasana. They sent Uqba ibn Amir to Abu Bakr. This is Abu Bakr when he was the Khalifa. So they sent him to him. When he arrived to Abu Bakr, he asked him, did you wipe? For how long you didn't take your khuf? He said, for a week. He said, you have done good. So this hadith, apparently it looks like fine, because it is from the narration Abdullah bin Mubarak, Sa'id bin Yazid, from Yazid bin Abi Habib, from Ali bin Rabah, from Aqwa bin Amir. Except that Ibn Hazm here says, if you look at the hadith, the person who doesn't understand hadith, he will get like tricked. He said, except that this hadith is ma'lul. You see, here Ibn Hazm take illah. He doesn't say, oh, this is one narration, this is one narration. I told you before that Ibn Hazm, generally, he will say this hadith, and he looks at the other isnad, ma'lul, there is no such thing as illah. This is by itself, that's by itself. But sometimes he does. Look, here he says, this hadith is ma'lul, because Yazid ibn Abi Habib never heard it from Ali ibn Rabah. He heard it from Abdullah ibn al-Hakam. And then he say, and Abdullah ibn al-Hakam is majhul. So he take the other narration, which is from Ibn Wahb, which shows that Yazid ibn Abi Habib never heard it directly from Ali ibn Rabah. So he said there is actually a man in between who is unknown. So he makes this hadith da'if, and he dismisses then all.
Can I just say something? Even if the hadith is sahih,
Yeah.
he says I've had them on Friday to Friday. It's like, now you can say I've worn this from Monday to Monday, and then I'll take it off, I'll go to sleep, put it back on.
Yeah, but if you have worn this from Friday to Friday, this person will be sleeping, he will be breaking his wudu, and he will have to take them off. You understand? If it's 3 days and 3 nights, then he will have to take them off and do wudu. You understand?
Not necessarily though.
Why?
As the brother said,
What?
how long have I've been wearing these socks, but every day I've been making ghusl and washing and taking them off and putting them back.
Yeah, so what he meant is, I have not, he said, but the hadith is said like this, how long you have not taken off your socks?
Alright.
You understand? So if he says, I have not taken them from Friday to Friday, that's mean, it's not a question how long you have been wearing them, like.
Yeah.
But Abdullah bin Umar didn't use to put time limit actually for. Yeah, this is Ibn Hazm say there is no one of Sahaba who says there is no time limit. But Abdullah bin Umar did use to say there is no time limit. But Abdullah bin Umar here could be easily dismissed, because Abdullah bin Umar at the time of the Prophet, only after the Prophet died, he knew about the masih. Only after the death of the Prophet. There is what we could say. There is hadith in Bukhari that Abdullah bin Umar saw Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas wiping over his leather socks. So he asked him. He said that the Prophet did it, so he didn't accept it until he went to Umar and asked him. Umar bin Khattab said, if Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas tell you that the Prophet have said something, then don't ask someone else. So that's been that Abdullah bin Umar, people will say, okay, he didn't even know about it. So they don't take his, they could dismiss his, they could dismiss his opinion here. Okay, now he said, now when the time is finished, when 1 day and 1 night is finished, what a person should do. Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i said he must take off his socks and wash his feet. He must take the socks and wash his feet. Definitely, he must wash his feet. You understand? When the time is finished, 3 days and 1 day. Let's go with the resident. It will be the same thing with the traveler. 3 days, 3 nights.
There's no limit.
Yeah. Well, they say 1 day, 1 night.
Oh,
okay. They say 1 day and 1 night. So they say one night is finished. Then he must take off his socks. This is Shafi'i and Abu Hanifa. And wash his feet. They say it doesn't matter if he has still wudu or not. But let's say you had done masah yesterday, this time, just after Fajr. So you had all day, and then all night yesterday, but one day and one night. Now we prayed Fajr. They say after Fajr straight away, you can't pray with that masah. Even if your wudu, you still have wudu. They say you don't still have wudu. You just have to take your feet, your socks, and wash your feet. And
they don't bring no proof.
Well, they say it's one day and one night.
Yeah, but
So they say it breaks your wudu.
It says one day and one night.
no, but the proof that they have to wash it.
To wash your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one day and one night. You can do masah one day and one night. Your one day and one night is finished. Now you have to wash your feet. That's what Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i says. Now he will mention here to discuss with the. They don't say you have to do wudu again all over. Just wash your feet,
Okay.
and then you can pray duha or.
So you don't have to do nothing else, just your feet.
Yes, this is the opinion of Shafi'i and Abu Hanifa. Shafi'i also said in another, because Shafi'i has two madhab. Shafi'i said you have to do wudu all over again. Abu Hanifa is known, one narration, that you just have to take your socks and wash your feet, and you are fine to pray until your wudu is broken. Now to answer Abu Hanifa, he said, Abu Hanifa says, if a person sit in the prayer in a length of time in which he can do tashahud, like Abu Hanifa, this is a madhab of Abu Hanifa, he's just criticizing him. Abu Hanifa says if a person is sitting in prayer, he finished his prayer, and this is the last rak'ah, after he comes from sujood, Allahu Akbar, and then he doesn't do anything, he just sits as long as he can do tashahud, without doing tashahud. He say, and then he breaks his wudu, intentionally or not intentionally, then his prayer is fine. Abu Hanifa says this. He say he doesn't have to say salam, as long as, like you say, come from sujood and you wait, let's say 30 seconds. In 30 seconds you can finish tashahud. You don't do tashahud, you don't do anything, your prayer is fine. You don't have to, it's complete. That is the opinion of Abu Hanifa, because for him salam is not an obligation in prayer.
You finish the whole tashahud?
No, he doesn't have to do tashahud.
Just the length of time.
Okay.
He says, like, if you come, this is the second rak'ah of Fajr, for example, you come back, you don't say anything, you don't talk, of course, you wait just like this for about 30 seconds, your prayer, and then you can go. Your prayer is finished. You don't say salam, you don't do tashahud. This is the opinion of Abu Hanifa. But he says, if someone have done wudu like yesterday, this time, and he come back from, like, let's say yesterday this time, what is the time? Yesterday 7 and 10 minutes he has started masah, and then now he is praying, and he raises his head and he sits for about 30 seconds, and it's 7 and 10 minutes exactly.
So that's fine.
His prayer is broken because
Abu Hanifa.
Because the masah is gone.
He went to that detail. He said that.
He does say
Yeah,
that.
but then he
Which book did you say that in?
he said if you do hadith,
Yes.
Yeah.
Muhammad bin Hassan narrated from
he said
him.
if you do hadith
Yes.
and you set up for the length of whatever to
Yeah.
do tashahud, then it's fine, his salah is valid, so this individual's salah should also be valid.
No, he should. Like, that's what he's saying. He criticizing him for that, because he said if you come back, if you are waiting for the prayer, if the time of the
Come fast.
yeah,
And then it means he doesn't have
Yeah, according to his method, he should have said he is still fine because his wudu, the feet, and they don't say his wudu is broken. They say the feet is wudu is broken.
They probably say that's an obligation.
Because according to Shafi'i and Abu Hanifa, only the feet wudu is gone. Then you can wash the feet. But they say, if Abu Hanifa here, he should have said, as long as. So they say if you are in prayer, Abu Hanifa says if you are in prayer, your wudu is broken. It's because it's timing.
The time is finished.
Your time is finished. This is how the hadith understood. They understood the hadith, and that is one way of to understand it. Of course, the word masah doesn't help. That the Prophet ordered the masah 3 days, wiping for 3 days. You understand? So. You understand? Wiping over the he didn't say that the wudu will be broken in 1 day and 1 night. He said you can wipe 1 day and 1 night. Of course, the hadith I don't believe in it at all because we don't have the wording exactly. But according to the way the Sahabi put it, and then you can see that here it's very tricky. Like the word he ordered us to wipe over 1 day and 1 night. So Abu Hanifa understood it this way. That it's not the wiping over the feet that you should do 1 day and 1 night. Actually, you wipe, yes, but when you wipe, the wudu will last 1 day and 1 night.
Okay.
And you can, but after 1 day and 1 night, your wudu is broken.
Oh, the wudu of washing the feet.
Yes.
So he said after wiping it, that's when it starts from.
Yeah.
Yes. He says after wiping it, but because Ibn Hazm has a different opinion. He says like you put your socks, you wipe, and then you wait 1 day and 1 night. 1 day and 1 night you can still wipe all the time. When the 1 day and 1 night, 24 hours, because the majority understand it 24 hours. 24 hours has passed, the wudu is broken, even if you are in the middle of the prayer.
The wudu is broken.
According to Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i.
What's the delil for when you said the tashahhud? What's the delil for it?
That is we have spoken about it. We will speak about it later because he says tashahhud is not obligation
And salam.
and salam is not an obligation. According to him, obligations are what have been the orders of the Prophet. To even to the man is not fulfilled because he say you don't have to wait. Like you have to go quickly and come back. You don't. So for him, the obligation of prayer he takes them from the Quran, ka'u wasjudu, and clear hadith. فَقْرَأُوا مَا تَيَسَّرَ مِنْهُ. Read whatever is available from Quran. So the other things it's not an obligation. You understand what he says here? Now there is another opinion. Ibrahim al-Nakha'i and Hassan al-Basri and Ibn Abi Layla and Dawud al-Zahiri say he can pray with his tahara as long as his wudu is not broken. He said, Ibn Hazm say this is the opinion, this is the right opinion. That as long as your wudu, like someone have done masah within this 1 day and 1 night, he started during the day and then he has a night with it, he can do wudu during this time. He said as long as his wudu has not broken afterwards, he can continue. Like let's say he doesn't sleep for 3 days and he doesn't break his wudu, he can pray with that wudu another 3 days. That's what Ibn Hazm says. What he says also, Ibn Hazm says that the wudu doesn't start from the time you do masah.
From you break it.
No, he says the wudu will start from the time that where, let's say you put your, when you need to do masah, not from the time where you do masah, from the time when you need to do masah. Someone has put his socks and he has lost his wudu. Let's say he didn't do wudu.
Okay.
The time where he need the first prayer where he should do the masah, that is the time when he should do masah, where it should be start counting. Let's say someone has put his socks just before Fajr, and before Fajr he put his socks, but he need to do wudu. but he chooses not to do wudu. He chooses not to pray, for example, Fajr. He still, it should be counted from that time.
The prayer time.
Yeah, from the time where he should have,
When it's an obligation.
when it's an obligation for him to do masah. You understand? So it should be counted from that time, and then when it's finished, he can do, like before Fajr, all day today he didn't pray, doesn't matter. He start wiping at night, he can have wiping until before Fajr again. The day that he missed, he didn't use it, it's his day, whether he use it or he doesn't. That is what Ibn Hazm believe. You understand? Of course, it's still an opinion.
It's a lot of talk.
There is a lot of talk if you take this hadith, actually. Because there is no saying of the Prophet and then go and understand it.
Any one of those, they all make, well, a lot of them make sense.
So, also, there is another opinion here. The opinion of Ahmad bin Hanbal. There is the opinion okay, actually this is Mas'ala 213. I was talking, I didn't check. This is 218. So, yes. He said Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i and Thawri said you start after these two times. Ahmad bin Hanbal said he will start from the time he has done masah.
18, 13.
That's what I was thinking.
13, not 18. Yesterday we said.
No, that is 328 page, but this is 213 mas'ala. The question 213. You understand? Ahmad bin Hanbal, okay, let's say what he says. He said because they have two different opinions, we have to take it back to Quran and Sunnah. And the Quran and Sunnah doesn't mention anything about what they say. That's what he says. He said we looked at those people who said it is a time. We look at the prayer, not at the timing. There is Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, Sulaiman bin Dawud al-Hashimi, and Abu Thawr. They say it's 5 prayers. And it's 15 prayers.
Also it covers the prayer time.
They say prayers. They say you pray 5 prayers. You understand? Doesn't matter. It's like 1 day and 1 night, that's 5 prayers. 3 days and 3 nights, that is 15 prayers.
Not really though.
Why?
Because
It's a lot.
no. But you could pray a prayer at the end of his time.
Yeah. Still. Still. 1 day and 1 night. You
No,
can't.
it's 1 day and 1 night. But defined by prayers is not the right.
Yeah.
Define it.
Well, this is how they define it, and he will give them an answer for that. He will say, for example, he said, we looked at those who said 5 prayers and 15 prayers. We found that they have no proof, except looking at the times that they counted the prayers during the day and the night, and they counted the number of prayers during 3 nights and 3 days, and this has no. It's meaningless. That's what he says. He said, if a man does masah after zawal at the end time of dhuhr, then he will do masah until the prayer of Fajr.
Okay.
So if a man does masah after what?
He says at the end time of dhuhr, like today, at the end time of dhuhr.
120,
Yeah, just before Asr. He said this person can only do masah up to Fajr.
Okay.
And say this is, and then he can't pray Salat al-Duha with that masah.
even if it's early.
Salat al-Duha, it is early, it is before Dhuhr.
No, he's saying the end time of Dhuhr.
Yeah.
So he's saying basically, for example, if he was to pray Isha at the end time of Isha, even though it's a long day,
Yeah.
and it will be much shorter than 24 hours.
Yes, but the 24 hours, is it? We have not spoken actually about the 24 hours. The 24 hours is the opinion of the majority, the 24 hours, but of those who take timing as timing, not prayers. But that is another issue. It's 2 days. It's 2 half days a day.
You're asking me the question.
Yeah, if 2 half days. Like someone,
What, day and night? Is day and night a day, or is...
like someone woke up in Ramadan, first day, and then he was not fasting because he didn't know it is Ramadan. He never heard, and then someone told him the moon have been seen during Asr time. So he started fasting from Asr. He must fast from Asr time. He must stop eating. It's haram to eat that day. So he has fasted from Asr until Maghrib. Now he has fasted half day. Tomorrow he will fast from Fajr until Asr. No, after Ramadan is finished, to make up for these people who said you have to make up this day, he just must fast from Fajr until Asr. That is 1 day or 2 days.
No, I wouldn't say that. He didn't fast that day.
Yeah, he didn't fast that day.
But when he found out, he had to carry.
Yeah, no, but he didn't fast that day.
Yeah.
He done it because he had to, but
No, he has.
didn't fast
He
that day.
fasts that day what he can from it. What he.
But he could have ate enough. He could have ate a big meal. Do you understand? And it was sufficient for him to last him the whole day anyway. So
That is. If someone does something in 2 different days, half day and half day, it's not called 1 day. The Prophet didn't say 24 hours, according to this hadith. This hadith says 1 day and 1 night. 2 half days doesn't make 1 day. 2 half days, it's 2 half days, 2 days.
I understand.
And it's not like a month. A month, it doesn't have to be from the beginning to the end. A month, you can start from the 15th to the 15th. 30 days is a month. But not a day. Half day today, and then half day tomorrow, that is 1 day. But the majority who take this hadith, they take it 24 hours. It's not 24 hours. If you don't take the day full, if someone starts masih just before Maghrib, his day is, he has done his day. And then he has the night left. According to this hadith, which is not acceptable. You understand? If someone has done, you understand?
Maghrib.
You mean Fajr, not Maghrib?
Just before Maghrib.
Just so that little tiny part of the day.
Yes. He has taken his day. He has used his day.
No.
You don't say, 10 minutes and then tomorrow I will complete the day. Is 1 day is 1 day. 2 half days is not 1 day. If I tell you I will work for you 1 day, it doesn't mean that I will work. If I work in 2 separate days, 60 like half day and half day, it's still I didn't work a day. I have to work a full day.
Okay.
You understand?
So
A full day is a full day. It's not two half days.
that's fine. But who would take that thing that if you done it just before Maghrib, your day has gone and you only have the night left? Where would is that? I'm confused.
It's not an opinion. It's my opinion.
No, but are you saying that day is finished then?
Yes, you have used your day.
I need to think about it.
Okay.
But this is all for those who say there are limits.
Yes. He says here, as those who says 5 days, 5 prayers during the day and the night, and 15 prayers during 3 days. He says these people, we tell them that if someone starts masih at the end of the last of Dhuhr, like today, the end of the Dhuhr, and and then he will pray with that Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha and Fajr. He said by Fajr time his wudu is broken, so he can't pray Duha the second following day. So that is not completed 24 hours because he believes 24 hours. So he said now they are not taking the hadith fully. The hadith says 1 day and 1 night. You understand? But the truth is that is not an answer. But he will say also and he says this is the contradicting the hadith of the Prophet that you can do masah 1 day and full night. So that is his opinion against their opinion. But he tell them here as well. He said, but if someone is sleeping, he didn't pray five prayers. He was sleeping like from Fajr until
after the middle of the night.
Until after the middle of the night. Until someone was sleeping, he slept just before Fajr today, and he went sleeping until tomorrow Fajr. He said this person who will wake up, do masah, and then pray the 5 prayers, of course, because he was sleeping. He said, and then he has to stop because he prayed his 5 prayers in one go. You understand this?
He has to stop.
He has to take his socks off. They say masah 5 prayers. Some people say masah is 5 prayers.
Okay.
So if someone has been sleeping for a full day, 24 hours, and then he woke up and then he does 5 prayers one go, then he does masah 1 time.
No, that's a good point though. That's what Ibn Hazm said, yeah?
Yeah.
So you know, you see the 1 day and the 3 days, yeah?
Yes.
Didn't the Quran say you can count the days from the moon?
Yeah.
So then why don't you just do that, isn't it? Does it just make it easier for them?
They might like it hard.
What do you mean?
Like you said, now 24 hours.
Yes.
Or some of them say 5 salats.
Yes.
Or 15
No,
salats.
Ibn Hazm and Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i definitely didn't say 24 hours, but they mean 24 hours. They tell you from the time of yesterday until time of today. That is 24 hours in the way we do it today. Because today we have time and the watch.
Same time.
Yeah.
You said.
So if you say same time, it's not question. We are not discussing about the timing. The problem is not about timing. Timing is easy. It's question of, is it really 24 hours? Is it really 1/2 day? And
Is it really from this time to next time?
he said, so he dismissed the saying of the 5 times, 5 prayers, masah. He said, because if you say, it's not, we don't look at the time like 1 day and 1 night, the way it is in the hadith. If you say only 5 prayers, if you say you count it by the prayers rather than the day and the night, then it is invalid. Because someone who sleeps for a day and a night and wake up and then he pray his 5 prayers one go, so he will do masah 1 time, and that is he said this contradict the hadith which says you have to do masah 1 day and 1 night. He said this person has not done only 1 time masah and prayed 5 prayers, and
But they'll accept that.
of course they will have to accept it or leave their madhab. Now he is discussing with people who are not present there to argue with him. This is the opinion, of course we say this is the opinion of Sulaiman bin Dawood al-Hashimi and Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, someone who was at the time of Ahmad bin Hanbal as well known as Ahmad bin Hanbal. He had his own students and followers. And also Abu Thawr. Abu Thawr was someone who used to have a lot of debates with Ahmad bin Hanbal. So these are known people. They have this opinion. This is not the opinion of the majority. This is the opinion of some tabi'in such as Sha'bi. And we say the opinion of Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i. They said that when the time is finished, whether you have wudu or you still have no wudu, then you have to take off your socks. And he dismissed it by saying that it's question of the timing of masah, not the timing of when it's not question of timing of how long the wudu will last. The hadith mentions the wiping over the socks. So he dismissed that. He dismissed the one of the 15 prayer or the 5 prayers Now the third opinion is the opinion of Ahmad bin Hanbal. Ahmad bin Hanbal, he said, you start the wiping. Now he's the opinion of Ahmad bin Hanbal and the wiping of Ibn Hazm. What is the difference between them? Ibn Hazm says you start counting from the time when you should have done the wudu. Ahmad bin Hanbal says you start counting from the time you do the wudu.
That's the right.
You understand? Ahmad bin Hanbal. Now, Ahmad bin Hanbal says you start wiping from the time you have done wudu. Yeah, you start counting. Like let's say someone has put his socks today. Someone has put socks just before Fajr, and after Fajr he lost his wudu. Before Fajr he lost his wudu. Ibn Hazm say his timing has begun before Fajr. You start counting, whether he does wudu or not. Even if he decide not to do wudu, not to pray, his timing is started. Fajr. So if he doesn't pray all day today and tomorrow, he still have to take his socks off. Ahmad bin Hanbal say no. When he doesn't, he must start doing wiping from the time when he have done the wudu. So Ahmad bin Hazm will say the answer here is okay. He has done wudu just before Fajr and done wiping. So I prayed Fajr, and then this big person became fasiq, stopped praying. So he has done the wudu at night. So that is his one night. And then he stopped doing prayer. So he didn't use a day. So after a month he make tawbah, he can continue his day and then pray. This goes against Ibn Hazm as well. Let's say, he said if someone does finish wudu and then put his socks. He has done wudu, put his socks on, and then he doesn't pray for a month. He said then according to Ahmad bin Hanbal, after a month when he starts praying, he does masah.
That's what Ibn Hazm said.
No, that is what Ibn Hanbal says. Ibn Hazm said this is wrong. He shouldn't say that.
So when the obligation kicks in.
So when Ibn Hazm say when the obligation starts, then when we start counting for him. Let me explain it to you in. Let's say now, just before Fajr, you had to do wudu. You had socks. You had done your wudu properly, you have done masah, but then before Fajr you need to do wudu again. Let's say we had suhoor here, we have eaten something that has roast chicken, and then what you do is you have to do wudu again. Ibn Hazm says even if you don't do wudu, your timing has begun.
Because of the salat?
Yeah, because the salah. You have to do wudu just before Fajr prayer. So if you don't do it, when the time of your Fajr, your salah starts? Now. Because it's not sunrise. So if you don't do Fajr today, and then you go all day, let's say you don't do Fajr you have the same opinion as Umar bin Khattab. Or let's say there is a woman with us who has seen blood. She thought it was menses. Then she discovered it wasn't. So she should have prayed actually, but she thought she has a reason not to pray. And then she doesn't pray all day. Night time, she discovered that she should have prayed. Then her day is gone. whether she used it or not. She didn't do any masih because she didn't think that she can pray. But still, she doesn't have, now she must do just one night because the day is finished. That is the opinion of Ibn Hazm. The opinion of Ahmad bin Hanbal will not be this. Ahmad bin Hanbal will say from the time where we start doing the masih. So if we put our socks now and then we decide, okay, we are not going to pray anymore for a month. After a month, we just do masih one day and one night. And then you have to take them off. You understand?
Yeah.
And Ibn Hazm dismissed the opinion of Ahmad bin Hanbal because it doesn't make sense to him. 1 month. It contradicts the hadith. But what Ibn Hazm said can be dismissed in the same way. The hadith just say masih one day and one night. You understand? So Ahmad bin Hanbal is applying the hadith. Ibn Hazm is applying the hadith. And anybody can apply this hadith any way he wants or he likes. You understand? Because it's not clear really.
So that's why he said that.
And actually, if you take it, even let's take it now with the opinion, let's take the opinion of Ibn Hazm, not the opinion of the majority. When the majority say you put your socks in your feet and then you start praying, you do masih, you start praying. Any way that you take it, they say when your wudu is broken, let's talk with the, they say before your wudu is broken, there is two different opinions. If you take your socks off, the majority say now you have to wash your feet. Ibn Hazm says you don't have to wash your feet because you had wudu. You don't wudu properly and you took your socks off. Who says that taking your socks off has broken your wudu? I mean, you do wiping over the imama, you take your imama. Many says it's not broken, your wudu is not broken. Or you do wiping over your hair, if your hair is so big, and then you shave. Nobody says actually that your wudu is broken, that you have to do wiping of the hair again. So why taking the socks? Is there anything that says that taking the socks off breaks the wudu? Nothing. So you have done your wudu properly, you taken your socks off. There is nothing in the religion that says don't take your socks off.
So these people that say that are just using intellect.
Yeah, they say you wiped over the socks, you take them off, the socks, the wudu went with the socks.
Okay, so what about the ones that don't say that?
Huh?
What about the ones that don't say that?
Now the ones who don't say that, the way like Ibn Hazm say, there is nothing wrong with your taking the socks off. So this is what we say, okay, so you have done wudu 1 day and 1 night. And then your day and 1 night is expired.
You have wudu.
You have wudu because the day and night is expired. You have not broken your wudu. Take your socks off. You have wudu now. Put it back. You put your socks while you are in state of cleanliness, tahir. Start wiping again.
So you have another one day and 1 night?
Yeah, just every time 1 day and 1 night is finished, take it off, put it back, you put it on the state of cleanliness and start wiping again.
So all of it doesn't make sense really?
Doesn't make all sense in any way you take it.
So we've got as long as we want basically?
There is no timing and you put it anyway.
It's just su'al. This is su'al.
But you said there's a problem with hadith.
Well, he doesn't. He accepts the hadith and he applied it. He applied his understanding and he dismissed the other people's understanding without proof. I mean, when he says, Ahmad ibn Hanbal says, you have to wait a month and then if you start after a month, wiping is no problem. Yeah, what's wrong with it? I mean, it's an opinion, just an opinion. I mean, he didn't contradict the hadith in any way. And actually Ibn Hazm here is the one who used his intellect. If you take the hadith says wiping 1 day and 1 night. I mean, Ahmad ibn Hanbal has followed the hadith as he is the Zahiri here, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, not Ibn Hazm.
When I came in, you were saying that هذه تدعي من الحديث.
No, the different hadith.
Okay.
I said the hadith of Yazid ibn Abi Habib from Ali ibn Rabah is different. That is different hadith.
The majority follow Ahmed ibn Hanbal now, though, isn't it? Regarding this issue.
No.
No?
The Ahnaf still have their own madhab. Ahnaf don't follow the madhab of Abu Hanifa regarding wiping over the khufs anymore. I mean, their shuyukh, so somehow they follow the opinion of of the students of Abu Hanifa. They have different madhabs. So within the madhab, they don't follow the madhab of Abu Hanifa. As for the Malikis, they don't do it. The Malikis, there is the madhab of the people of the East, the Egyptians and the Gulf. The Gulf is officially Maliki, including Saudi Arabia. Officially they are Malikis. They are not Medina and officially, like by law,
they should be Maliki.
They all are
by law.
By law.
Because Maliki from
The Dustur, the law when they defined, when they made the Dustur.
Oh no.
They are Malikis.
Is that what it says in the book?
The Gulf, all that, the Dustur, what we say, the law, they are Malikis. Qatar, Kuwait, Emirat,
Bahrain?
Saudi Arab, and
Hijaz, basically.
Hijaz, not Bahrain. Not Bahrain, not Oman. Oman officially they are Ibadis. And Yemen,
They what?
Ibadis, Khawarij.
Is it? Officially?
Officially, yeah.
What, in the law?
Every country that calls himself Muslim, they say we are Muslim, and then because this they have to follow a madhab, because these countries were only found after the madhabs have been established. So like you go to Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, they are officially Malikis. You go to Egypt, officially they are Shafi'is, officially by the law of the country. So because North Africa, Malik has almost two different madhab. The East and in the West, North Africa is totally different. Because the East now, they don't apply the madhab of Malik, except in the madhab of Malik is applied now in the courts.
Okay.
Like if you go to Qatar or Bahrain, it's applied in the court, like marriage, divorce, they apply the madhab of Malik.
Okay.
In North Africa, it's applied by people. People still use it, muftis and stuff. But North Africa, they have the official madhab that says you don't wipe at all on your feet. You understand? So what we have today is the madhab of Abu Hanifa, which is the sub-madhab of Abu Hanifa, which says no masah at all. And then we have the madhab of Shafi'i, the Egyptians, for example, and the Yemenis.
So they don't take Quran. Khalas, they don't take it.
What?
Ibadis.
Masa, the subsect in the Hanafis.
No. If you go to someone like who is big mufti or something, they will, like there is some muftis, Hanafi muftis from the Dubandis, they still follow Abu Hanifa madhab. But if you go to Imam of mosque or something, these Imams, they have books. Like every generation, there will be someone famous. He will take the books and he will put it on the people. So today, people in Pakistan, they take the books they take Hidayah as their main book of the Hanafi madhab.
That's a book.
Hidayah is called Hidayah. This is the main book for the Hanafis today. And so they say that masih, they say it in a way, it's fine, but they don't do it. If you go to Shepherd's Bush, Taha for example, and ask him, he is one of their muftis, he would tell him masih, he will say no.
Tahir,
Yeah, Tahir, even though he knows that it's in his madhab, but
This is the two one, yeah?
yes. So
Actually, he's one of their muftis.
He is one of he's intelligent person. He study the madhab. He knows his madhab properly. He will tell you that it is in our madhab and stuff, but you shouldn't. I mean, if people will go and ask him how we shouldn't. Sometime in the madhab, within the madhab, people will say, okay, if we tell him do masih, there will be a lot of sub questions. How long? How you understand?
Material.
So to make it easy, there is no masih. Like you understand? Or like for example the sujud sahw. Sujud sahw from the madhahib is like no discussion. Either some madhahib everything before sujud, before salam, and some madhahib everything after salam. Rather than going to details, they say people can't understand this, so they decide, they make decision. What should we do it? Like either before or after, and then they decide this before, and then. But this has nothing to do with the madhab. So today, the madhab here is like the Salafis, but the Salafis have different opinions. The Salafis, of course, the Salafis is all the madhab of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Albani doesn't discuss these matters. These issues are so complicated for him. So it's almost it's the Uthaymeen, Bin Baz, but they have different opinions. Some of them say you start counting with the masih at the time with the masih, because even Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Taymiyyah contradict their Imam regarding the masih, contradict Ahmad ibn Hanbal. So where you find Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim saying something different from Ahmad ibn Hanbal, then you will expect that the people of Saudi will have different opinions.
They always follow Ibn Qayyim.
They follow, some of them follow Ahmad ibn Hanbal, some of them follow Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Taymiyyah. So he said we have looked at the saying of Ahmad, so we saw if a person is a fasiq and done wudu, put his khuf on wudu, and then he stayed 1 month not praying intentionally, and then he made tawbah, then he can do masih from his time of tawbah 1 day and 1 night, or 3 if he was traveling. And if he does masih and then stop praying many days, and then he do masih 1 night, is still fine for him. And therefore, this will make him do masih for a year. And this is contradicting the hadith. So his saying is invalid. You understand? He didn't do masih for a year. He did masih for only 1 day and 1 night.
So even if he's
he didn't take off his shoes for a year.
So if he was puberty and he just done 1 day, he wiped over it, he didn't pray till the end of his life, and then he was wearing the same pair of socks, and he wiped 1 night, that's fine.
That we are thinking like, end of life, or 2 days, or 3 days, as long as it's more than 1 day, it's still the same. I mean, if you make it 100 years, if you tell me 1 week, and they say it's fine, then you expect me to tell you, if you tell me 80 years, I will tell you it's fine.
Yeah, but it won't be, let's say it's dirty now, it's going to be dirty now, isn't it?
What if
it's going to be najis now, isn't it? Like you got some fungus or disease growing in there.
Disease
is not najis.
No?
Disease is not najis. Najis is what the religion says is najis.
But you're going to have to wash it.
Supposing it was foul though and it smelled terribly.
Yes, still it's
not.
It
wasn't a disease.
It's not. If it smells terribly, it's still not dirty. Dirty is what the religion says is dirty. If something the religion says is dirty, even if it's very nice smelling, probably champagne, people say it smells. I've never smelled it, but I believe that I see people saying champagne.
It smells like alcohol.
Okay, well, if it's alcohol, then it's dirty. It smells dirty. But normally, even if it doesn't smell dirty, even if it smells nice, it's haram. If it's the religion say it's ritz. But you don't say dirt. Like someone is working in a mechanic with this oil, and that is not dirty. If someone falls into a well where there is its oil,
seaweed.
No,
excrement.
No, dirt, like the earth.
Excrement. Isn't that najis?
Yeah, excrement is najis, yeah.
You understand?
But that's not
Najis,
happening, 'cause-
najis only what the Sharia say it's najis, not the something that you don't like.
No.
You understand?
You're gonna have to wash every 7 days anyway. That's
You have to take shower every 7 days anyway, and you have to take off your shoes. Because the hadith says that it's the right of Allah to take your that you wash yourself once every 7 days. So he said nothing is left except what we have said. So he dismissed the saying of Abu Hanifa, the saying of Ahmad bin Hanbal, and he dismissed the saying of 5 prayers. He said, and we looked at what we said. It corresponds with what Umar bin Khattab have said, and it corresponds with the hadith, and there is no other saying except it, and therefore we have to take it. He said because the Prophet ordered that a man do masah 1 day and 1 night, and then he can he said, and then he must take them off after 1 day and 1 night. He has no proof for this, that he must take them off 1 day. He didn't discuss it because actually he either thought about it and he couldn't find an answer and he just made it pass, or he didn't think about it. Allah. He said, and then he must take them off, or he will be disobeying the Prophet. Okay, take them off after 1 day and 1 night. Yes, but you say that he is still having wudu. Then put them back. Where there is anything to say you shouldn't put them back.
So he's trying to say that it would be wrong if you try to put it back on. Does he have a problem?
You have to take it off.
Do you not understand?
Yeah, because 1 day and 1 night.
So then does he have a problem if like he took it as a game? Like if you take your socks off, you got wudu and put it back on.
Yeah, you see, even the hadith, anyway you take it won't work for the Ahnaf as well, for Abu Hanifa and for Ibn Hazm. That is because Abu Hanifa and Ibn Hazm says that there is nothing called mafhum mukhalafa. They don't do mafhum mukhalafa. If the Prophet says the traveler wipes 3 days and 3 nights, they say no mafhum mukhalafa. That's mean the traveler, he wipes 3 days and 3 nights. Is there anything to say that he can't wipe 4 days and 4 nights?
No, there ain't.
Well, because the Ahnaf and the Zahiris, they don't take mafhum mukhalafa. And those who take mafhum mukhalafa as well, those who take mafhum mukhalafa from the Shafi'is and the Hanbalis and the Malikis, say the mafhum mukhalafa normally, when it comes to the numbers, for them, they say mafhum mukhalafa in numbers, many of them say it's weak, you shouldn't take it. They say if
translate what?
mafhum mukhalafa, look, if I say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا. Fight in the sake of Allah those who fight you, and don't transgress. So some people say Allah has forbidden fighting those who didn't fight. No, He said fight those who fight you. He didn't say anything about those who don't fight you. Understand? So if you find another ayah that says fight everybody, you don't say this has been abrogated. Here He said just fight those who fight you. And later He said fight everybody. You understand? Mafhum mukhalafa is to understand what He is not saying. Like He is saying it indirectly. You see, when we say Muhammadur Rasulullah, meaning anyone else is not Rasulullah. Is it? Like Isa or Musa? You see, when you say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ. Don't kill your children out of fear of poverty. Do you kill them for other reasons? You understand? That is called mafhum mukhalafa. But there is different mafhum mukhalafa. You understand? Some mafhum mukhalafa is stronger than others. This is according to the usuliyin. So one of the what is considered to be weak mafhum mukhalafa is when when the Prophet says,
When it's numbers.
when the Prophet says, whoever loses 3 of his children, they have not reached the age of puberty, he will go to Jannah.
Yes.
And then a woman says, and 2? He says, and 2. So the fact that he said 3
Does not mean no.
doesn't mean that 2, no. You understand?
Wait, where is that hadith? Which,
In Bukhari and Muslim.
which chapter?
The Kitab al-Qadr.
Or even the one with 3 daughters, huh?
Sorry?
The one with 3 daughters.
The woman,
The man with 3 daughters.
yeah,
And they said, what if you only have 2?
about what?
If he raises them,
Yeah, but this is the...
So you could respond to it.
No, this is the same hadith. The hadith about, they asked about if someone loses 2 of his children. You understand?
It's the same hadith.
It's the same hadith. That the man asked, the woman asked. It's not like the man who has a slave and he teach her and...
No, I was talking about the hadith where the Prophet said that the man who has 3 daughters and he raises them up
Yes,
in the deen.
Is it 2 or 3?
raise them in the
Raise them in the
deen. That they
religion.
will be a cover for him. Yeah, that is the...
When I'll be this close.
It's almost the same hadith. I mean, if you look at it, it looks like the same. A man asked, the woman asked.
Yeah, but one's losing. And
Yes,
one's-
raising them. Oh, the hadith of raising. Yeah,
That's 2, isn't it?
whoever has 3 daughters and he raises them on the
No.
deen, they will be a cover from him
And
from
then the man
hellfire.
said, what if you only have 2?
Yes.
He said, I knew.
Yes, this is the hadith. I say it might be that the narrator have just mentioned something.
That's wrong.
Yeah, it like losing. He mixed him up with another hadith.
But he said daughters though. He was very specific in saying daughters.
Yes, the hadith that you are referring to is the hadith of Sha'bi. It is in Bukhari, and he narrated it from Nu'man bin Bashir. And yeah, so he narrated from Nu'man bin Bashir, and the other hadith is the hadith of Abi Huraira, and
And where is that?
it's still in Bukhari and Muslim. Yeah, can't say it's 2 different hadith. 2 different hadith. Definitely 2 different hadith. Yeah.
You said there's a problem. Did you say there's a problem?
No, I didn't
Oh,
say
okay.
problem. There is another hadith where Abi Huraira say a woman asked, a man asked. That is the problem, not what he is talking about.
Oh.
I just got mixed up. So now the fact that he says 3, it doesn't mean not 2. You understand? You can see it clearly from this hadith. He mentioned 3 when he asked us about 2. He said, yeah, it's fine. Still, when the hadith where he says, whoever a Muslim dies and 100 prayed his janazah, all of them asking for intermediate for him, asking Allah to forgive him, Allah will forgive him. Then there is another hadith that says, whoever dies and there are 40 people pray for him. And then when he comes here, he say, the mafhum al-adad is weak. The usuliyin who accept mafhum mukhalafa, they say mafhum al-adad is weak. Because you find many hadith that may say, gives number, and then another hadith gives number. You understand? The fact that he says, if 40, 100 ask for forgiveness, doesn't mean that less than 40 will not, their prayer will not be accepted. So here, this should have used this same ruling. Of course, Ibn Hazm, the majority will say, yeah, we will apply it if we find another hadith saying something different. But no, generally, you can wipe as long as you want. This is general. The hadith saying 3 days,
But
with mafhum
in one
mukhalafa,
aspect, it's saying 1 day.
yeah, 1 day and 1 night.
No. So
Yeah.
it's kind of negating the 1 day and 1 night for the.
No, 1 day and 1 night.
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah, doesn't mean.
It's being specific for the non-traveller though.
Yeah.
in one day and one night. Alright, it's being specific for the trip. But if that was the case, then you can paint them all with the same brush anyway.
Yeah, still مفهوم العدد is something that is weak. Is the number the مفهوم العدد is something that is not accepted by them. I am discussing with the people who say regarding their rules. You understand?
If we do accept that
For me, that hadith is not. I don't have the saying of the Prophet, and therefore there is no timing. It's not clear. I mean, the Prophet would have explained it fully, but there is no saying of the Prophet. What the Prophet says is wahy. Therefore, it's called dhikr, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says anything that comes from Allah is dhikr. Any revelation that comes from Allah is dhikr. No? Do you have proof for that?
Huh?
Do you have proof for that?
Is that
Any
the
proof
Quran?
they're gonna?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, the
No.
Prophet said he speaks only. Allah says about the Prophet, he doesn't speak from himself. He only speaks from what is revealed to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And where did that revelation come from?
I mean, say, okay, the Prophet doesn't speak from himself.
Yeah.
That is one thing. I say, what the Prophet says, whether it's Quran or Sunnah, is called dhikr.
Yes.
Okay, what's the proof for that?
The ayat.
The ayat.
And then we could build up another case and talk about.
The Quran always refers to anything that is revealed to any prophet to be dhikr. Nuh says to his people, أَوَعَجِبْتُمْ أَنْ جَاءَكُمْ ذِكْرٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Are you wondering that dhikr came to you? Nuh said to his people. Hud said the same thing to his people. Allah says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِن بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ. We have written in the Zabur after the dhikr. And وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْفُرْقَانَ وَضِيَاءً وَذِكْرًا. So Musa has been given dhikr. It's not Quran what they have been given. So why the Prophet what has been given as well is dhikr. Is also kitab. Quran and Sunnah, both of them should be called kitab.
So hadith is dhikr.
Yeah, every hadith is dhikr. And all the
say it's only Quran.
yeah, they say Quran, but it's not true. Why? Allah refers to anything that comes from Him, to any prophet, to be dhikr. Why the Sunnah of the Prophet is not dhikr? Why is the Sunnah specifically is
The
not?
majority say that it's Quran.
Even if you look at it, what the other prophet have been given, it looks more than like Sunnah rather than the Quran. Like if you look at the other books, the Torah and the Injil, they look more like Sunnah rather than
Revelation.
yeah, like Jesus said, and Allah refers to these books as dhikr, and anything that comes from Him is dhikr. And He told the Prophet, وَنَزَّلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ, we have given you the dhikr, so to explain to people what has been revealed to them. So Sunnah is dhikr as well, and Sunnah is kitab. Every prophet, كان الناس, the people were one ummah, and then Allah sent the prophets to give glad tidings and to warn people, and He sent with them the book. With the prophets He sent the book. So every prophet has been given a book. So the Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah is a book. Quran is a book, and the Prophet has been given 2 books. So, and then when Allah says إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ, we have sent down the dhikr and we will protect it. Then it's mean the Quran and Sunnah. Quran and Sunnah, both of them are protected. So
We need the Prophet saying.
yeah, so what has been protected, the Quran and Sunnah. So the Prophet said something to Ali ibn Abi Talib. According to Ali ibn Abi Talib, he said something. If that was dhikr, if that is not like suggestion, maybe he suggested to them. Like, you understand? Maybe Ja'ala, Rasulullah have made it. Many Sahaba understand. There is many Sahaba who understand that the Prophet doing something he is making it a law. The majority, the fuqaha, the four madhahib, say when the Prophet does something, it's not like he is making it a law or something. We don't take it as obligation. Maybe Ali ibn Abi Talib saw the Prophet. Generally, he doesn't take. He like realized. He looked at him and he saw him not taking his, and he guessed that he is making it as a law for everybody. Or maybe the Prophet said to him something, or why don't you take your shoes? He was wearing them for 3 days, and then he thought they were smelling. He told him take them off. He thought that is the limit. We don't take the religion as guess, like, you understand? You have to find where he got it from, how. And if the Prophet said it, he will have made it clear. I mean, that hadith you can never determine whether Ahmad ibn Hanbal is right, or Ibn Hazm is right, or Abu Hanifa is right, or...
You see what you're saying? The Quran, Sunnah, and Dhikr.
Yes.
It's only the Hazm that says this.
No, Ibn Hazm doesn't say this. The majority of, we know, the Mufassirin always say Quran, Dhikr
Just Quran.
is Quran. And the Quran is protected. For them, Quran is protected. The Sunnah, we protected it. Like Sunnah, it's mixed up. You understand? So they look at the Sunnah and it's like mixed up. Ibn Hazm says the Sunnah is protected, but it's not like through going it's not the way I was trying to say it, in a different way that probably I don't agree that explanation. If it was...
Do you know of anyone that holds the same way that you say?
No, they say, I don't say that I am the only person to say it, but this is how I see it. I don't know if someone says it this way, but you have to look at the books. But the way we see it in the Quran and Sunnah, when we say the tafsir...
Mubarak, when we found in the book when we was reading, what's his name again? Mubarak.
Abdullah Mubarak.
Yeah, when he said about that he called dhikr, Quran and Sunnah dhikr, that he sent down. Remember when we was reading one time a book and he said, remember this.
Okay.
That, you said that because he said this man said that the Quran and Sunnah dhikr, because he used it, that what was sent down.
Yes. Yeah, he said it, yes. He said it, but I don't, he didn't explain it really.
He didn't expound upon it, but he said it.
So I saw one time shuyukhs, the scholars of the past, they say that the Quran is a verse that says the Quran or Hikmah. And the Hikmah, yes, they say is the Hadith.
Yeah, this is نزلنا القرآن والحكمة, and they say the Hikmah is Hadith. That is, yeah, it is one opinion. Always they say Quran and Hikmah means Hikmah is the Hadith. Yeah, but Allah sent the Quran and Hikmah. That is one way of understanding it. It is one opinion that the people say, but yes, it is obligation. It is the Quran and Sunnah is protected. So if the Quran is protected, and clearly the Prophet said to the Sahaba that someone might understand it better, that means the wording has to be, from this you have to see that the wording has to be protected. Also, he says here, let's just finish this chapter quickly because it has been a long time now. So with this, he said, if the person has to do tayammum and he doesn't find water, then he does tayammum and wear his khuf, then he can do wiping over it, because the tayammum is his tahara. He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَكِ يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ. After he mentioned the tayammum, Allah want to cleanse you. So it is tahara. He said, and if he can pray with tayammum, that means he is tahir. If he is tahir, then his feet are tahir as well. If he put his feet inside the socks, then he can do wiping as long as the time has not finished, expired. And if he does find water, when he finds water, he said, well, if the like water, he finds water later on, he doesn't have to take them off and wash his feet. We have spoken about this when it comes to ghusl. We said if someone does tayammum, normally he is clean. But then, if he is on state of janaba, the majority here, including Ibn Hazm, say he has to then wash. The proof of Ibn Hazm is the hadith of Imran bin Hussein, which is in Bukhari and Muslim, that the Prophet was in trouble and then he prayed. When he finished the prayer, he saw a man at the side of the mosque by himself, not praying. He said, why didn't you pray with us? He said, I have been in state of janaba, there is no water. He said, the sa'id is enough for you, like do tayammum. And then the Prophet sent some people to get water. They found water later on, like by almost midday.
So the man, when they gave him water, the Prophet started dividing the water between people. At the end, he gave the man who had janaba water and told him, go and pour it over yourself. Now this hadith here is bit, the man, normally when the Prophet told him the tayammum is enough for you, he should have done tayammum straight away and prayed, because the Prophet finished prayer, spoke to the man, the time is still there, so the man should have done tayammum and prayed. But when he finished, he told him to pour this water on him. Now if his tayammum is finished and then he's clean, why does he, when there was no water, why does he need to pour the water over himself, meaning do ghusl? This strengthened the opinion of the majority. Ibn Hazm is on this opinion as well. He says, we have hadith here clearly that tayammum, of course this hadith goes against what we call the usul. You have no choice except to accept it until you find an answer for it also. You understand? Because you can't, it's difficult to find an answer for this. The man should have done tayammum, unless if it was
so the man didn't pray.
Or the Prophet. The answers for this are difficult.
Like, but how do you know he just didn't pray and then he just wanted to wash himself after?
No, if the man asked for it, we don't care. It was the Prophet who gave him the water.
I said that last time, remember when you asked me?
You understand?
But how do you know it's just for the man just to have a personal preference of cleaning?
That's what I said last time.
Yeah, but the personal cleaning, the man having personal cleaning, the Prophet is the Prophet who gave him. If the Prophet gave him, it's difficult to give this answer.
Why?
But the Prophet gave him. The Prophet called him. The hadith doesn't say that the man came to him, even though it is a possibility.
Even if he didn't, let's say the Prophet came to him and gave it to him.
What? The man is clean.
Maybe he knew the man wanted to wash.
Yeah, the man wanted to feel.
Even how does he know that the man? There is nothing in the hadith to say that.
You're saying the man.
It goes against the usul.
But you don't know.
Yes,
so
we don't know.
Why speculate?
Yeah, it's not a question to speculate, but it's a question of the Prophet have done something. He gave him the water and said, go and pour it. He's like on order. Go and pour it in yourself. You understand? He gave him water and said, even if the man asked, he told him, go and pour it over yourself. Even if the man showed any interest, he ordered him.
So the man, when did he pray?
There is hadith, many hadith da'if. One of them is the hadith of Abu Dhar from Amr ibn Bujdan. Amr ibn Bujdan is considered to be unknown. That the Prophet said that the tayammum is the tahur of anyone. Tahur of anyone if he doesn't find water, even if he doesn't find it for 10 years. When he finds the water, he should fear Allah and touch it his skin, make his skin touch water. If this hadith was sahih, it will clarify the problem. That's when tayammum is tayammum until you find water. You understand? But that hadith there is a bit, because if you apply that hadith with the fact, with the usul, okay, I have done tayammum, my tayammum is complete, it is tahara. Okay, what about I have started salah, I came to do wudu in the kitchen, I turn the tap on, there is no water, I start praying, I pray 2 rak'ah and then water starts running, I have to stop. Well, the water running, is it hadath to break the salah? But you understand? Of course, they will say you have to pray to stop the prayer and repeat it again.
But they ain't got no dalil.
Well, the dalil is the Prophet gave the man water to pour on himself. That means when the water was there, he is not clean anymore.
No, but Allah says in the Quran that you are clean when you.
That's why he said it's bricks.
Yes, I understand.
So
This hadith you have to find an answer for it. Of course, always.
Why would you have to find an answer?
Or can you say Prophet ordered
I don't think you have to find an answer for it. You don't have to find an answer for it.
Then you have to take it.
You have to take it.
Yeah.
But that was specific to the man.
That's not trying to.
No.
Can't you say exception?
Whatever is the Prophet say to one man, he says it for everybody.
But the man, let's say the man had a hot night.
Hard night.
He had a hot night.
Hard night.
a hot night, it was hot. Do you understand? He was sweating and everything. Do you understand?
Yeah, but he told him to put it on himself.
Maybe he was smelling or something, and he said, "Here, take some water and wash yourself."
Yeah, probably. I mean, this is not the answers that normally I take that. I like to find an answer that is
clear.
So you
clear.
can ask the question.
Then maybe there is no answer to it, but you know.
You never know. I mean, I have experience like this. Sometimes I take something and start thinking about it, and then you think that there is no answer for it, and then the answer comes.
But did the man, you know, when the Prophet saw him and he wasn't praying behind,
Yeah.
and the Prophet asked him, did he pray any prayer up to that point when he got the water, or he decided not to pray at all?
How do we know?
I know, I thought it was in the hadith.
Yeah, if it was in the hadith, I would ask you about it.
No, I'm not.
Well, if there was in the hadith, you think that there wasn't in the hadith. This is what I told you. This is the part that is in the hadith. The man, this is what the Prophet told him, and that is the mentioning of the man who is not doesn't come in the hadith again. You think that the man is going to describe? It's not a film. It's hadith.
Did you check the recording?
Yeah, I said it.
He didn't. He didn't say.
No, I said it.
He didn't say. He said one narration.
He said it. He said it. He didn't.
No. He said one narration.
No. Something yesterday.
He said one narration and another narration. But the wording of him yesterday was, if I say that I know I said different narrations. He didn't say, and I said you.
Recitation, you mean?
Yeah, recitation.
Yeah. What did I say?
I said you said there's one recitation, there's another recitation. You didn't say there's different recitations. I said that wording, so I'm not wrong. And I'm not. No, come on. If you said to me yesterday different recitation.
What we said, you didn't know that there was two different recitations.
Yes, I did. I knew this 2 years ago because you told me 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
But I said I said it 2 years ago, and I said it just last week.
Yes, it was more.
You said that last week I didn't mention it.
Yeah, but then I said to you afterwards, I said I could be mistaken, but I know you didn't say different narrations, different recitations.
But I heard it from you like 4 times in the last month about the Fatah review.
Yes.
That's what I remembered.
With Abdul Fattah.
About the Fatah, I was next to you, Yunus, I was next to you, and then here.
Yes.
And 2 years ago. That's why I remember he said the recitation.
Yeah, and I remember it 2 years ago.
I said it. I know that when I will talk about it, I will have to explain it in details. So I have said it. So he said another just part here, but he has missed. He said if his hadath is complete, if someone has done hadath, if someone has broken his wudu in any way, and he has done wudu afterwards, before he does istinja. You know what istinja is? Istinja is cleaning yourself from hadath. Sometimes, for example, someone will urinate, cleaning himself afterwards.
Just the part.
Huh?
Just the part.
Yes. So he say, of course, this is he says, clean yourself from. That we call it istinja in Arabic. Yeah. So he said, doing wudu and without doing istinja is still fine.
No, but you have to wash that part where the najis is on you. You have to wash that part where it is.
What he means here, if someone has put his socks after he has done wudu, without cleaning himself from urine, for example, he say it's still he can do masah on this khuf. This is just sub. You understand? Someone, for example, let's say someone has done masah. Someone has done wudu. No, someone has been to the toilet, then done wudu afterwards, only to discover that he didn't clean himself properly, or has forgotten. But he has put the socks on, that he has to take the socks off. There is nothing to say that you have to do wudu after cleaning yourself. Understand? So wudu is broken by the hadath itself, not by not cleaning person, not cleaning himself. Still his wudu is fine. He has done wudu after hadath, so he can do istinja, like cleaning himself afterwards, as long as he doesn't touch himself with hands, barely hands, like understand. Let's say he does it in any way, other way, without touching himself with the bare hand. That's mean you understand this part? Yeah? Do you?
Kind of understand.
Can you explain it? Well, the one who understands can explain to.
Khalid is the main man. Go on.
If you do a lot, you explain it to him.
Well, you explain it in your language. You know how to speak.
Excuse me, I'm kind of sleeping now, but as you said, istinja basically, if you have
You know istinja in Arabic, what does this mean?
See, you mentioned if you have some
defecate or urinate.
Yeah, you wash it off.
Yes.
And you do.
No, let's someone didn't clean himself, he forgot.
And then you remembered.
He forgot, and then he did wudu. Instead of cleaning himself, he just went and done wudu. And then he put his socks. And then he remembered that he didn't clean himself from when he...
The istinja.
Yes. Then he just go and do istinja. He doesn't have to take socks off and do wudu, because he has done his wudu properly.
His wudu is still valid.
His wudu is valid. What breaks the wudu is the hadath, not cleaning yourself. That is not hadath. It's not called hadath. You understand? He said,
how long left the masala?
it's finished.
Just one question. Don't you have to take your clothes off, the piece of wearing you're wearing, take it off if it's urine?
If you're sure that it has been touched with urine, then yes,
so
of course.
Then you don't. What's the point of istinja then? Just a little bit.
No, there is point of istinja. We are talking about the socks. You don't have to take your socks off.
Okay, yeah.
You understand?
This is separate.
You take your clothes off, clean the part that has been touched with urine, and put new clothes again.
Yeah.
You understand?
You're saying the individual acts in it, basically. Everything's an individual act. The wudu is an individual act. This istinja is an individual act. Putting the socks on doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is something that shouldn't be a big difference about this, really, because there is another thing here that where it comes to the people who take the opinion that you have to you put your socks on state of tahara when you are clean, meaning you have wudu. This here, some of them say, if you put your socks, if you wash your feet, one foot, wudu, and then put your socks, and then you wash the second one and then you put the socks, they say it's fine to start wiping on them because you put them when you are clean. Some say no, you have to finish all wudu, then you put the socks, because when you put the first socks you are not clean, because you will become clean only when you finish the full wudu.
But they haven't got no delil for this.
Makes sense.
Well, this makes sense if you take the understanding of being clean. You understand? Because when you put your sock on your feet, you are not clean really. You understand? You have not finished your wudu.
Because I thought of this question earlier in my house. I remember when we was doing when you have breaks in the wudu.
Yes.
Okay, now you do your whole body except for your feet.
Yes.
Go to your room, put your clothes on, put your socks on, go back to the toilet, you do mess it.
Yeah, it's fine.
This is what I say. We say it's fine, but I say it's fine. No. It's different. You see, if you take it, I say, if you have wudu or you have no wudu, doesn't matter. You can put your socks and start wiping, because there is no proof. That's what I say. Now, some people say, and this is not my opinion personally only, this is, some people have said it, but it's very few people who say this. But there is, the majority say you have to have full wudu before you can put your socks. You understand? You have to be clean. Now, if you wash your feet, your foot, one foot, you do wudu fully, and then one foot you put the socks, and then you go to the second foot, wash it, and then put the socks. Then when these socks, when you put these socks,
You haven't completed the wudu.
you have not completed wudu. So you are not clean. If you do have wudu, you have no wudu. You will have wudu, you will become clean only if we take you as not to be clean the way they understand it, then you will become clean only when you finish the whole wudu. You understand? And yeah, this is from this. There is also many sub things, topics.
Stopping and starting the wudu. Like stopping and starting the wudu. There's no evidence to say that you don't.
Well, there is no evidence that. Yeah, there is no evidence for that about stopping and.
So you could apply that here as well. Then?
No, that is not if the hadith say. You have to put your socks one state of cleanliness. Now, if you think that cleanliness here means having wudu, then doing half wudu is not wudu. So when you put the socks in the first foot, you are not clean. You will become clean only when you finish the full wudu.
No. But we say that a Muslim is always tahir.
Yeah, but if you take it as Muslim is always tahir, that is the meaning of it, then you can do it. You can do it before even you do wudu at all. But to take it the other opinion, then yeah, and then there is some sub topics here that comes. But everybody is tired. The next masala is 214.
I'm worried about getting a parking ticket.
What is it about?
It's regarding, can you do it when you are traveling for haram travel or only for halal travel?
What's this?
Ibn Hazm going to go through.
No, the majority, there is two different opinions. Can you fast? For example, can you break, like Allah given permission for us to pray 2 rak'ah during travel, not to fast during travel, to wipe over our feet during the travel. So he says he will discuss with the madahib. The madahib Abu Hanifa and the Zahiris say even if you are traveling to kill someone, you are traveling, so you fast. You don't have to fast. The majority say only if you are traveling to obey Allah, not to travel to do haram. So he will say there is no proof. The hadith doesn't say if you are traveling for ma'siyah or.
Yeah, but there is no proof though, is there?
There is no proof, but it's question of if you are traveling. If you are traveling,
everything is individual. It's individual acts. Again, it's an individual act. If you're traveling, you're traveling. Whatever you're doing for that travel,
that is true. That is true. He will only criticize those who say this. He will criticize them because they say if someone. They will say if someone is hungry, if someone is hungry and he is going to die, but he is like on the highway robber, and he is dying, they say he can eat to save himself from death. When Ibn Hazm say he can't, it's forbidden for him to eat.
Why?
A highway robber, because he is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he said that a necessity فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. If you are drawn by necessity without transgressing the limit, you understand, and without being baghi or adi. Someone who is in the highway robber, he is baghi and adi, so he shouldn't eat. He should make tawbah and then he can eat, but not before that. Of course, this is a question of someone who is a highway robber. Will he care really about haram or not haram? But still,